I recently read Triggers: Creating Behavior That Lasts, Becoming the Person You Want to Be by Marshall Goldsmith. Goldsmith says, if we do not create and control our environment creates and controls us and turns us into someone we do not recognize. Whether you realize it or not, your environment is by far the most important factor that determines whether you'll succeed or fail implementing a new behavior, like trying to exercise every day, or banishing an old behavior, like getting angry or confrontational in work meetings. Your environment is full of triggers that zap your will and guide your behavior in subtle ways. You may want to eat healthy, but when you're triggered by a series of frustrating emails and a real-time chart that shows your stocks losing value by the second, the environment-induced anxiety makes you opt for the leftover pizza in the fridge at lunch instead of the salad you were going to prepare. You may want to be more patient with your child, but when you're triggered by a loud TV in the background, a messy house, and a phone that keeps buzzing with notifications, it's nearly impossible to be present, patient, and playful with your child. The first step to creating behavior change that lasts, like eating healthier or being more patient with people you love, is to adopt the extreme belief that your environment is the sole reason for everything you do. Now, your environment may not be the only reason you do what you do, but temporarily adopting this belief is an excellent way to start changing your behavior. With this belief in mind, it's clear that the only way you can change your behavior is to eliminate or anticipate counterproductive triggers in your environment, and then create new productive triggers in your environment. Let's see how this works by taking a negative habit that's worth changing, like arguing with your partner and saying things you later regret. First, think back to recent arguments you've had and what environmental forces, aka triggers, that may have led to the argument. Now, the obvious trigger is your partner telling you to do something you promised to do with a condescending tone. But upon deeper reflection, you may realize that there were other, more subtle triggers in your environment which all but ensured you would respond in a hostile way to almost anything your partner said. One trigger might be listening to news on the radio or listening to a political podcast, which slowly deteriorates your positive mood. Another trigger were the idiots on the road on your way home from work. And lastly, upon entering your house, you checked your email on your phone and became aware of more problems at work, which put you in a confrontational state of mind. Once you identify counterproductive environmental triggers, systematically approach each of those triggers in one of two ways. First, eliminate triggers you can control. In this example, you could delete all political podcasts from your subscription feed. Then, you could keep your phone in the glove compartment of your vehicle until after you catch up with your partner and cook dinner, so you're less inclined to check email after work. After actively trying to eliminate triggers you can control, you then must anticipate and mentally prepare for triggers you can't eliminate. This includes the idiot drivers on the road. Anticipating and preparing is like checking the weather forecast in the morning to know how you should approach the day. By pausing to see that there's rain in the forecast, you can be equipped with an umbrella and rain jacket so you don't get soaked on the way to your car. Likewise, if you know you're going to encounter people or situations or temptations that trigger you to act in counterproductive ways, you need to prepare for those triggers and choose how you're going to respond in advance. It's helpful each morning to remind yourself of the behavior you're trying to change and then jot down all the counterproductive triggers you think you might encounter during the day. To ensure you don't get carried away, give yourself just a minute to think of all the counterproductive triggers you might encounter. Then take the piece of paper or index card with the list of triggers you've written down and put it in your pocket for the rest of the day. Having that sheet of paper or index card in your pocket will act as a constant reminder throughout the day that you need to maintain a heightened sense of awareness for triggers in your environment that are conspiring against you and shaping your behavior in unwanted ways. Now that you've done your best to eliminate or anticipate counterproductive triggers, it's time to create productive triggers. To improve the odds of coming home in a good mood, and thus reducing your chances of getting into a heated argument with your partner, you can create a playlist of songs that you listened to way back when you met your partner and fell in love. When you put this playlist on the way home from work, it can trigger feelings of affection that you have for your partner, and you'll be more likely to respond with kindness and compassion to whatever your partner says when you get home. When you're trying to create or preserve all types of positive behaviors, you must load your environment with productive triggers to the point where you almost feel overwhelmed by them. Here's a few ways to do that. First, strategically place objects throughout your environment. If you wanted to create a new strength training behavior, You could keep a grip strengthening device on your kitchen counter and push-up handles in the middle of your living room. Then you could put keywords that trigger you to think of working out on post-it notes and place them on your fridge, your bathroom mirror, your bedroom door, and your office desk. A second way to load up your environment with productive triggers is to multiply your digital reminders. This includes reminder app notifications, calendar event notifications, or phone alarms during the day. Also includes recurring emails to yourself with the behavior you want to change, or SMS reminders on your phone. I personally use a service called AskMeEvery.com that sends me a pre-programmed text message at specific times during the day. And the last way to load up your environment with productive triggers is to surround yourself with people, virtually or in person, who promote and praise the behavior you're striving for. If you wanted to work out more, start a group chat with the people you know who value fitness and encourage them to post images of their workouts or text messages that detail the number of sets of an exercise they just completed. If you can eliminate or anticipate counterproductive triggers and create productive triggers, you're well on your way to changing your behavior. But if you want a behavior change that lasts, you need a method that consistently pulls you away from the gravitational force of your old habits. Adult behavior change is one of the hardest endeavors in life. As an adult, you have so many old habits and social connections pulling at you and insisting you maintain the status quo. When you slip up and fail to execute your new behavior, you'll quickly fall back into your old ways. But not if you embrace active questioning. When you develop an active questioning nighttime ritual, you gradually and consistently thrust yourself towards the person you want to be and counteract the gravitational force of your old habits. Here's how active questioning works. Before you go to sleep each night, answer a question about your desired behavior that starts with the phrase, "Did I do my best to?" Like, did I do my best to work out today? When measuring and evaluating a new behavior, most people ask themselves passive questions, like, did I work out today? But when you ask passive questions, you're more inclined to make excuses for inaction. Like, I didn't work out because the gym was closed, or I didn't work out because I had to work late. But when you start asking yourself active questions, like, did I do my best to work out today? You suddenly hold yourself accountable and feel responsible for inaction. Because if the gym was closed or you had to stay late at work, you could have completed a few push-ups before bed if you were doing your best. The more you ask yourself active questions, the more inclined you are to improve your change strategy instead of giving up when your initial strategy isn't working. In other words, you transition from expecting change to happen to making it happen. Begin an active questioning ritual tonight by creating a spreadsheet with the behaviors you want to change or maintain in the left column, all starting with, did I do my best to? So for example, did I do my best to start work without procrastinating? Did I do my best to avoid distraction during my focused work blocks? And did I do my best to be considerate and patient with everyone I interacted with today? Once your active questions are written down in the left column, shrink the next 31 columns and create a grid with the numbers 1 to 31 at the top to represent each day of the month. Then print out the spreadsheet on one page and place it on your nightstand. Now, before going to sleep tonight, write down a value between 0 and 10 for each active question in the appropriate column. If, over the course of a few days, you enter a series of low values to a particular question, you'll gradually find the drive to improve your effort because there's intense discomfort in knowing you're not doing your best to follow through on something you promised yourself you would do. When you develop an active questioning nighttime ritual, you'll naturally start wondering, am I doing my best throughout the day? And find ways to execute your behavior change despite how busy or tired you feel. In the end, assume your environment is dictating your behavior and eliminate or anticipate counterproductive triggers that support behaviors you want to change. Then, create productive environmental triggers to guide you towards the person you want to be. After optimizing your environment, ask yourself active behavior questions every night that start with the phrase, did I do my best to? Write down your answers on a scale of 0 to 10 on a piece of paper. The more you practice active questioning, the more engaged you'll be in the behavior change process and make a change that lasts. That was the core message that I gathered from Triggers by Marshall Goldsmith. This book is one of my favorite behavior change books. I highly recommend it. If you would like a one-page PDF summary of insights that I gathered from this book, just click the link below and I'd be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribe to the free Productivity Game email newsletter, this PDF is sitting in your inbox. If you like this video, please share it. And as always, thanks for watching and have yourself a productive week.